Alright guys, so we're going to start to work with a database, and the database we're going to be using is MongoDB. Okay, it's what we called a NoSQL database, and we have an entire part of this course dedicated to MongoDB, so I'm not going to go in depth on it. But to briefly summarize, it's a NoSQL document database. Okay, it stores documents which can be thought of as JSON objects. Okay, they have the same syntax. They're properties with values wrapped in curly braces. MongoDB is extremely scalable because you don't need to predefine your schema and your fields. You can have whatever fields you want to whatever documents you want. Alright, now like I said, we have a part dedicated to Mongo, so I'm not going to go over the installation and all that, all the setup. It's pretty easy anyways. There's a window installer available, so I already have it on my machine. And what I'm going to do is open up my Mongo shell. Okay, I have Mongo installed. Let me just pull up. I have Mongo in my C drive in this MongoDB folder. And you'll see there's a bin folder with Mongo exe. So that's what we want to run, but we want to run it from the command line. So if I open up my command line, I'm going to have two of them because one's going to run the shell, one's going to run the node application. Alright, so let me just navigate to MongoDB, and then we want to go in the bin folder and then Mongo. Okay, so this is the shell, and in the database, in the MongoDB part of this course, I'm going to show you all kinds of commands and stuff, but for right now we're just going to use what's needed. So if you want to see the databases you have, you can say show DBs, and by default you just have this local. So what's nice about the Node Mongo driver is that you don't even have to set up your database here or your collections or anything. You can do that through the application. If it doesn't find that database that you specify in the app or the collection, it'll just create it. Alright, so we don't actually have to do anything here. I just opened up so that we can verify that our collection gets created and stuff. Alright, so now let's go to a folder where we want to create our application, and we're going to be working through the command line through this whole section. We're not going to have an application run in the browser in this section. Alright, so let's go to CD projects, and I'm going to create a folder here called, we'll just call it Mongo Driver. Alright, and then we're going to CD into that folder. And then we're going to create our package.json file, so npm init. Just going to enter through all these. Yes. Alright, and now we should have that. Let's see, we'll go to C drive, projects, Mongo driver, package.json, which I'll open now. Okay, I'm actually going to change the script to app.js. Alright, so now what we want to do is install MongoDB. So we're going to go back to our command line here and say npm install MongoDB -- save. Alright, and now you can see that's been added to our dependencies. So now what we want to do is create our app.js file. Okay, we're going to open that up. Alright, so first thing we want to do here is bring in the Mongo client. So we're going to say const Mongo client and set that to require MongoDB dot Mongo client, just like that. And then we want to have a connection URL. So let's say const URL, and we'll set that to MongoDB // localhost, and that's going to be, the default port is 27, I think it's 017, and then we want to do slash, and then what we want to call our database. Okay, we'll call it my project. Alright, and then we want to take that Mongo client and call connect.connect. And in here we're going to pass in that URL we just created, and then a function. And that function is going to take two parameters, the error and the DB object. And then we want to first check for that error. So we'll say if there's an error, then we'll just do return console.dir and pass in that error. Alright, if there is no error, then we just want to console log, and we'll say connected to MongoDB. Alright, and then what we're going to do, we want to be able to perform CRUD operations, create, read, update, and delete. So the first thing we'll do is add the ability to insert a document. Okay, so we're going to create a variable called insert document, and we're going to set that, oops, forgot the T. We're going to set that to function, and let's just put a comment here, insert single doc. This function here is going to take in a DB object and a callback. Alright, and then in here what we want to do is first get the collection. So we're going to say const collection equals db.collection. Okay, the collection name is going to be users. Now, like I said, we don't have to go and create this beforehand. It'll actually do that for us. Alright, so next thing, we're going to insert some documents. So we'll take that collection and say dot insert, and we're going to pass in our document. So that's going to be inside of some curly braces. We'll give it a name. Okay, it's just going to be a person. I'll just put my name here, and then let's do email. Let's say brad@test.com, and then the next parameter will be the function where we can get our result. Okay, so this is going to take an error and a result. So we'll check for the error, and I'm just going to copy this right here. Alright, and then if there's no error, let's do console.log. We'll just say inserted document, and then we can also log the result. Alright, and then finally we need to call that callback and then just pass in the result. Alright, so that should do it for insert document. Now for that to run, we're going to go up here right after where we said we were connected, and let's say insert document, and in here we're going to pass in the DB object and then the callback, and then we just want to close it, so db.close. So let's see what happens if we go ahead and save that, and we're going to run node app. Okay, so we get inserted document, and then we get our result saying it's okay, and this array here, ops, will have our actual data. So you can see we inserted the name, the email, and it also gave us this underscore ID, okay, which is a unique ID. So we don't have to worry about inserting, manually inserting that. Okay, we also get inserted count, which is 1, and then the inserted IDs. So that's the result we get back. Now if I were to go down here to the Mongo shell and now I'll say show DBs, you can see now we have a database called my project. We can say use my project, and then we can say DB, actually let's do show collections and we have a users collection. So that was created for us. We can say db.users.find, and there it is. There's our user. Alright, so we have successfully connected to MongoDB through Node.js and inserted a document. Now let's say we want to insert multiple documents. Okay, so we'll create a function for that. Alright, so let's say const insert, and we'll call this one insert documents, plural. Okay, same thing. It's going to take in DB and callback and the collection. I'm just going to copy this. So we'll get the collection, and then instead of insert, we're going to call insert many. So we'll say collection dot insert many. Alright, and then that's going to take in an array. So we want our square brackets, and that's going to be an array of objects. Okay, so we'll say name, John Doe, email, we'll say john@test.com. Alright, and then we can add some more here. So let's just copy that. We'll paste it in 2 more times. And then this one here will change to Sam Smith. And then we'll say Jose Gomez. Okay, so there's our users, our documents. So then we're going to do a comma function, and that's going to take in error and result. Okay, we want to check for the error just like we did up here. I'm actually going to copy all of that. Okay, we'll check for the error, and then for the message here, we're going to say inserted. Now we can get the number of documents that we insert. So what I'm going to do is just concatenate on result.ops.length, and then we'll concatenate back, and we'll just say documents. Just do that. So it'll be insert and then the number and then documents, and then we'll just do our callback result. We don't need this. Alright, so let's go up here, and I'm going to just comment out this insert document, and let's copy it. Okay, this is going to be insert documents. Alright, and that'll all stay the same. So let's go ahead and save that. Now up here we're going to run node app. Let's see, insert documents is not defined. Oh, I did a lowercase here. It should be uppercase. Alright, so connected to MongoDB, inserted 3 documents. So now down here in our Mongo shell, let's do a find, and you can see we have all of those documents. Now I want to also be able to find our documents through our application. So now we're going to do a find documents. Alright, so let's do const find documents equals function. Okay, and let's see, this is going to take in DB and callback, just like the other ones. And let's get the collection. Okay, we get the collection, and then we're going to take that collection and say .find. And in here, we want to pass in just an empty set of curly braces because I don't want any queries. I just want to get everything. And then we want to make sure that that comes back as an array. So we're going to say .toArray. Alright, and then in here we'll get a function. And then we'll say error docs. Okay, we'll check for the error. Let's just copy this one. And you can handle the errors however you want. I'm just going to console log them. Alright, and then let's do console.log, and we'll say found the following records. Alright, and then we'll just do another console log, and we'll pass in docs. Okay, and then finally our callback, pass in docs. And then let's go up here, we're going to just comment out the insert documents, and we're going to copy it, paste that in, and change it to find documents. Alright, so now let's go over here and run node app, and there we go, it gives us all of our documents. Alright, so this video is getting a little long, so we're going to continue this in a second part, and I'll show you how we can actually query documents, update them, and remove them.